Welcome to 21st Sports 2015 Season Preview for the Miami Dolphins. We're going to go over the roster, and we're also going to go over the schedule and make predictions for every single game in the 17-week schedule, all 16 games. So let's start off with the roster for the Miami Dolphins. And under center at quarterback for the Fins, Ryan Tannehill. And Tannehill had a good season last year, throwing for 4,045 passing yards. He also had 27 touchdowns through the air. And at running back, Lamar Miller had 1,000 yards last year and 8 touchdowns on the ground. He's also a threat to catch the ball out of the backfield, as he also had 1 touchdown receiving and 275 receiving yards for the Dolphins last year. And then at receiver, you got Greg Jennings and Kenny Stills. So some new additions. They also brought in Jordan Cameron at tight end. So they got some more weapons on their offense for Ryan Tannehill. And Tannehill is a very underrated quarterback, in my opinion. The Dolphins have always had success running the ball, at least for the last couple years, regardless of who is in the backfield, although they've had some injury issues. But if they can stay healthy, they should have a lot of success on the ground and through the air. So they should have a very balanced and versatile attack that's going to make them a threat against any team. Now let's look at their defense. And their defense also had a huge addition on their defensive line, as they brought in Ndamukong Suh, and he's going to be playing alongside at the defensive end Cameron Wake, who is a stud and all-pro. Also on the other end, Oliver Vernon, and he is also an all-pro in my opinion. And so you got one of the best lines in football, and this is a division that has some pretty good defensive lines as you look at Buffalo and also New York. But this line right here with Cameron Wake and Ndamukong Suh, Oliver Vernon, and also Earl Mitchell at defensive tackle as well. So they're going to be a real beast of a line. And they also got C.J. Mosley. And then at linebacker, they got Koa Missy, and Kelvin Shepard is the middle linebacker. And on the other outside, Jelani Jenkins. If anything, the linebacking core is maybe a little bit of a question. But Jenkins is a pretty solid player, so is Missy, and I think that they're going to do a good job. Then we look at their secondary at corner. You got Brent Grimes, and Brent Grimes is a ball hawk. He's a very underrated player at corner. And also Bryce McCain. And then at safety, you got Walt Aikens and Rashad Jones. So they have a pretty good secondary and a good defense overall. That's why I have them picked to win quite a few games. I actually think they'll win double digits. Let's just look at their special teams real quick. And a kicker, Andrew Franks, and then Matt Darr at punter. And returning the kicks and the punts, Mike James will be handling the duties. At least that's how they have it penciled in as of the moment. So now let's look at their season schedule. And starting off in Week 1, September 13th, a Sunday game at 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. They'll be starting out the season with a couple of road games. First in Washington against the Redskins in Week 1. And I believe that the Dolphins should be able to win this game. I don't think they'll have too much trouble with the Redskins. The Redskins got a lot of issues. And the Dolphins are a very solid team. Then in Week 2, September 20th, also a Sunday game. This one at a 4 o'clock start, 4:05 kickoff to be exact. And they're going to be on the road for the second week in a row, this one time in Jacksonville. So just going up Florida and staying in state, but Jacksonville is quite a ways from Miami, as Florida actually north to south takes quite a lot of time to travel. So there, it is a road game. And then going against Jacksonville, I think they'll beat the Jaguars. I think it'll actually be a pretty competitive game. I think the Jaguars are a better team than a lot of people expect them to be. But Miami is just going to be too much, and they're going to start off 2-0. Then in Week 3, they finally get a home game. Is September 27th, Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. They're going to be hosting the Buffalo Bills. So Rex Ryan will be coming into Miami with his new team, as he had the other team from New York, which they will be hosting on the following week. But in this game here against Buffalo, it's going to be a tough game with Buffalo's defense, but I think the Dolphins will put up more points. Buffalo's going to struggle to score, and Miami shouldn't have too much trouble scoring, even against a solid defense like this. But I don't think they'll have to score too many points. But I think they win this one, and they'll remain undefeated at this point. Then week 4th, October 4th, they're going across the pond as they're going to be playing in Wembley Stadium against the Jets. Technically, they are going to be the home team for that game, although obviously it's a road game for both teams as they're going to be facing the Jets over in the UK, and that's going to be Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the kickoff. And I believe they'll beat the Jets, so they'll be undefeated going into their bye week in week 5. And coming out of the bye week, week 6, October 18th, back in the States, a Sunday game at 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. They're going to be traveling to Tennessee to face the Titans and Marcus Mariota. And I believe the Dolphins will remain undefeated against the Titans as they just got too much talent, and the Titans are a team that's still in a growing phase. And then week 7, another Sunday game, 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff. They host the Houston Texans, and this is a game they'll be happy to host because going to Houston would be a tough battle. But in Miami, I think they could beat the Texans. The Texans are going to be a tough team. I think both of these teams at this point will be undefeated, so it'll be a battle of the undefeateds in week 7. But I think the Dolphins remain undefeated coming out of this one, 6-0 at this point in the season. So that takes us to week 8, October 29th, Thursday Night Football, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. They'll be going to Foxborough to face the Patriots for the first time in the season, as they face them twice, obviously, being in the same division. So they face their division rivals, and I think the Patriots are undefeated this time. So for the second week in a row, battle of the undefeated for Miami, but this time they will join the ranks of the one-loss teams. They will leave the ranks of the undefeated as the Patriots will hand them their first defeat of the season. So that takes us to week 9, November 8th, a Sunday game, 1 p.m. Eastern. And they'll have plenty of time to prepare for the rematch against Buffalo, traveling to Buffalo. It's going to be a tough game, but I think they can bounce back from the loss against the Patriots and get a win. Of course, this is the second game in a row on the road out of 3 games in a row on the road, a 3-game stretch. But I think they can beat Buffalo, as Buffalo just has those issues at quarterback, and I think that's going to make the difference. Is the Miami defense is not going to allow them to score too many points, or any team to score too many points for that matter. That brings us to week 10, November 15th, 1 p.m. kickoff against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly, the third game of a 3-game road stretch. And I think they're going to lose this one. This will be their second loss, where they're going to end up losing 2 out of these 3 games. It's a real tough stretch in the season where they have to face these tough teams on the road. And I think Philly is just going to put up too many points as the Eagles find ways to score, whether it be on offense, defense, or in special teams. It'll be a close game, but I think on the road in Philadelphia, the Eagles will be able to beat the Miami Dolphins. It's just going to be too much for the Dolphins to overcome. But then in week 11, November 22nd, they're back home. This one's Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff, and I think they're going to beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys will be coming into town, and they will be getting shut down by this defense of Miami. This is a really hot defense, in my opinion. And without a running game, having that running back by committee that Dallas is going to be using this season, that's going to be trouble for Romo and the offenses. They'll probably end up getting picked off a couple times by these ball hawks in the secondary, and I think Miami's going to beat the Cowboys there in week 11. Then in week 12, November 29th, another Sunday game, 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff. They go on the road to face the Jets for the second time, and they sweep the season series, as I believe they will do against Buffalo, as I already mentioned, and I think they'll take out the Jets. The Jets have a pretty good team, actually, except, again, the quarterback is the issue there. Fitzpatrick, he is turnover prone, and I think they're going to get after him, force fumbles, get interceptions, and they'll win this game to sweep the season series against their division rivals, the New York Jets. So that brings us to week 13 against the Baltimore Ravens on December 6th in Miami, 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff time, and I think they're going to beat the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to struggle this year, and the Dolphins shouldn't have too much trouble against Baltimore, as they should shut them down and score points on them. So then in week 14, December 14th, Monday Night Football against the New York Giants. It's in Miami, and they'll be hosting the G-Men. This is a 8:30 kickoff time. As I said, Monday Night Football, and I think they can beat the New York Giants in this game. To think that their defense is just going to be too much. The Giants, they got a big question in the backfield, what's going to be going on in the running game. Of course, they did add Shane Vereen, but I think that, and he is familiar with the Dolphins, having been on the Patriots, but I think that the Dolphins will be able to shut them down and put up points against the Giants' defense, and that's the suspect defense they have there in New York. So it takes us to Week 15, as they'll be traveling to San Diego, and this is a 4:25 kickoff, December 20th, against the Chargers. And I think they're going to lose this game on the road. This will be their third loss. It's going to be a really close, tight game. And it could go either way, but I think that the Chargers end up getting this one here late in the season. These two teams have had some pretty good battles late in the season over the years. This is a classic matchup between these two teams, but I think the Chargers will be able to edge them out with a late comeback in a 2-minute drill. Phillip Rivers ends up getting a touchdown that puts them ahead, in my opinion, but we'll see. That's quite a ways out. But in Week 16, December 27th, they're headed back home, and this is 4 out of 5 games at the end of the schedule that they have at home, and they finish off with 2 games at home. Of course, though, they are against 2 very tough opponents, and the first, the Colts, and then the Patriots. They used to be in the same division as the Colts before realignment. Well, as I said, this game in Miami versus the Colts, December 27th, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff, and I think that the Miami Dolphins win this game. I think they'll beat the Colts. I know a lot of people are picking the Colts to go far this year, and I think they will make the playoffs and win their division, but I think the Dolphins get a big win right here and secure, a wild card in this, AFC. It's going to be tough to get into the playoffs with a lot of good teams, but I think they could beat the Colts. With that defense in Miami, they could shut down anybody, even the high-powered offense of Indianapolis, and I think they'll be able to score on the Colts' defense, as the Dolphins are going to have a pretty good offense themselves, so I think they'll be able to win that game in Miami. Then in Week 17, the rematch against the Patriots, the second game, this time in Miami. And I have the Patriots winning this game, although I would not be shocked to see the Dolphins pull this one off. It's January 3rd, 1 p.m. Eastern, kickoff on a Sunday. And I think the Patriots are going to run the table, but it'll be interesting if the Patriots can make it this far undefeated to have the final game of the season be in Miami against the Dolphins. So, the only 2 teams that have gone undefeated in the regular season are the 72 Dolphins and the 07 Patriots. Of course, the Dolphins finished it with a Super Bowl victory, whereas the Patriots came up 1 game shy of being perfect. But in the regular season, both of them have done it. It'll be interesting to see if it comes down to that. And it could be the difference, though, if the Patriots do have a couple losses. It could be the difference in the division. The division title could come down to this final game, and it is possible that the Dolphins could potentially knock off the Patriots and end up being the AFC East champions for the first time in a long time, as the Patriots have dominated that division. But I would not be shocked to see the Dolphins finally come up, although I think the Patriots are just going to be on a tear this year, kind of like in 07, but we shall see, and we'll know more as we get closer to that game. But officially, I'm picking the Patriots. That would be 12-4 for the Dolphins, and at 12-4, that would have them making the playoffs as a wild card, and so they would end up being in the wild card game as the 5th seed, and as the 5th seed, they would end up facing, let's see, I have the Colts versus Houston, and then I have the Chiefs is the 3rd seed winning the West, and that would put the Chiefs versus the Dolphins, and I believe the Dolphins are going to beat the Chiefs in the wild card round, and that would set up a match with the Dolphins versus the Patriots in the divisional round. So I think the Dolphins will get a win in the wild card, but then in the divisional round, they face the Patriots for the 3rd time. And as I have it picked, I have the Patriots winning that game, and I have it as the 3rd time they would beat the Dolphins, although that is kind of a stretch, and it's a tough thing to do, especially against the team as tough as the Dolphins are going to be in 2015. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them split the season series, but I still think in the playoffs that the Patriots will beat the Dolphins. They will get the 1 win in the wild card, and it will be, progress to build upon for next season, where they should make an even deeper run. And I think it'll be a successful season for the Dolphins. It's something to shake a stick at. 12-4 with a win in the wild card, potentially having a shot at winning the AFC East. I think overall it's going to be a really good season for Miami, and I think they are, moving forward. And I think they have potential to, not this year, but maybe next year, they could be in the Super Bowl picture. But as for this year, I think they make it to the divisional round, lose in the second round there to the Pats, and that'll be the end of their season, which I believe will be a very good season for the Dolphins. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think about the picks throughout the regular season and also the playoffs? How far do you think the Dolphins are going to go? Let me know in the comment section below, or any other thoughts you have about the Dolphins season. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and have a great weekend and enjoy all the sports.